Everyone, welcome back. Got a little bit of a treat for you. B-Man loves everything from Notre Dame football to sports. I even love railroad history and railroad bridges. So there is an old turntable bridge here in Hammond, Indiana, that's been abandoned for over 70 years, probably even longer than that. The Sohl Avenue Bridge is what they call it on Sohl Avenue near downtown Hammond. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you're new. And let's get started. So it's a little bit of a walk to the bridge. I was going to park there across the street, but unfortunately that's the city Baptist school. They're having services today, so I didn't want a bus to hit my truck. So I'm parked here in a factory called Amstad Rail, I think it's called. Yes, Amstad Rail. And hopefully they don't call on me and get me towed. But I'm here, so let's start it off. So I'm taking this trail. I have no sense of direction, so let's see where this trail leads us to. The bridge is over here to the left, which is the Grand Calumet River, by the way. That's what the bridge crosses over. You know, I have a bad feeling about this trail. I don't think I'm going the right way. It's going to lead us right to the river. So there it is. There is a turntable type of bridge that would rotate at a 90-degree angle. Believe it or not, this is the Grand Calumet River. Much smaller now than it was years ago. Barges and ships used to come through here to deliver coal and goods to the local factories. I mean, that had to be back in the 1940s and 30s, even before that. Now, the bridge was built in 1902 by the Nashville Railroad of Chicago. And yeah, that's a long time ago. Now, I'm not sure when the bridge was put out of service. I would have to say before probably the 1950s. That's when they closed up the river and it was no longer used for shipping goods and stuff. So, yeah, it's been sitting here for years, for over 100, and gosh, next year it'll be 120 years it's been sitting here. So let's get a little closer to it. I'm gonna walk up here to the bridge. I got the mysterious woman behind me who doesn't want to be identified. So be careful, mysterious woman. We'll just call her B-Woman Mad. So you can see the original trestle supporting the bridge. I mean, that's wood. I mean, that's how old this bridge is. Like, they don't do that anymore. It's all steel and concrete now. And you can see the original joist is holding it up too. I'll get underneath there and look for a date, an original date from back in the day. That'd be kind of cool. So here I am walking. As you can see, the original railroad ties are up here. This is kind of crazy and stupid for me to be doing this. I don't know how stable this bridge is. There's a little bit of a gap right there, so like, hey, if I fall in, you hear that fire truck in the background, they won't have far to go. So as you can see, of course, the original rails were pulled out probably years ago, and these are the original ties that are still put in. But look at this thing, man. This is a big ass bridge. Of course, there's the Grand Calumet. Trying to hold the camera and watch my step at the same time. The mysterious bee woman doesn't want to go, so she's sitting back there laughing at me when I fall in. Now, I do know there's a few of these bridges still in service in the U.S. I know there's one in St. Joe, Michigan, that goes from the St. Joe River out to Lake Michigan for the bigger boats to come in when the railroad comes in as well. So they radio it in, and the bridge turns at a 90-degree angle so the ships could come in. Something like this bridge would do back in the day. You look at that gap in the water underneath me, and that's crazy. I mean, I know how to swim, but and that water is cold, and that river, you know, if I fall in there, I might sink because of all the soot down there. So B-Man needs to be careful. I don't know if I'm breaking any laws right now. Hey, B-Woman, do you think I'm breaking any laws? She shook her head yes, so it's okay. Maybe I'll get filmed getting arrested today. It's amazing how these structures can still hold up after over 120 years and still support. I mean, that's crazy. I'm gonna go to the other side here and show you guys. So, I mean, most of the steel structure is in place after all these years of weather rotting and being in the elements. It just, you know, they don't make stuff like they used to. Here is the rail, piece of a rail still left. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I love this kind of stuff. You know, I love finding these old railroad bridges and finding a piece of history, but I wonder how long that rail's been sitting there. I can't really find a date on it. But I noticed before I walked over here to this rail, I don't know if you guys can see it. See that little wheel down there? That was probably the device when the bridge would move. There was probably a belt on there when it would move. It was all part of the process, the mechanical movement for it. So that's pretty cool. Man, it's just amazing how this stuff still lasts over the years. I'm going to walk to the other side here. Now, Hammond in Chicago were one of the most busiest railroad junctions of the whole world at one time. Hammond, I believe, had the most railroad crossings in the country up until the 1990s when they started pulling out the old rail lines that went abandoned in the late 70s and 80s. And Hammond still does have a lot of railroad crossings that stop traffic, but it's nowhere near like it was in the 80s and 70s and even before that. And you can see this is where they cul-de-sac the river years ago, because back then, that's the Sohl Avenue right there. That's the Sohl Avenue car bridge. That bridge wasn't there, of course. The river was much wider, much deeper. But I think back in the 60s or 70s when they cul-de-saced it off, when ships started running through here, which put this bridge out of business and had no more use, of course. I'll flip you over to the other side right there. That's heading towards Hammond Avenue right there. Down there, I'll zoom in. Yeah, there's Hammond Avenue. So I'm coming to the other side here, the south side of the bridge, going into apartment complex back here called People's Park. A little bit of a gap below me. So I'm trying to step over here as you see my B-Man's feet. So, kind of a dangerous trip for B-Man today, folks. Now, I think it's kind of sad how all the railroad history in this city is going away. Like I said earlier, Hammond had some rich railroad history back in the day. And since I was a kid, I was infatuated, in love with the railroad, had railroad train sets, and it piece by piece, year by year, it seems like it's going away in Hammond. And one day they'll probably have to tear this bridge down. I would appreciate it maybe if they made it into a pedestrian bridge or like a bike trail. Restore it, keep the old frame up. That would be kind of cool. Maybe light it up at night. But I don't know, maybe an idea for future use. But to kind of keep the history alive, in this city with, because basically the railroad was here before the city was. Hammond was founded in 1884. The railroad had been here since the 1870s. This bridge was actually designed even before Hammond was even founded in 1884. The structures of the bridge were drew up in 1883. So that's about 19 years before the bridge was finished in 1902. So it just shows you that the railroad history here has been around forever, even before Hammond was in existence. I'm here at the other side of the bridge, the south end of the bridge, going into People's Park apartment complex. And here's some original rails right here. Pretty neat. Going into the bridge, heading north. I love this stuff. I just can't believe, again, how the structure of this bridge is still standing after all these years with all the abuse it took through the weather, because in northwest Indiana, we have some brutal weather. Look at the crisscross bars at the top. None of them have worn out or fallen off. It just goes to show you how things were made back in the day. Absolutely awesome. So, take a little bit of a panoramic shot here. Going into People's Park. There's a fence right there that blocks off to try to get people to stay out of here. It looks like the fence has come off though. So, I don't know, some rich railroad history here in Hammond showing you guys. Pretty neat. Even these bolts are still in. Pretty cool. I would love to go back in time and see this bridge rotate like they say it did. I've looked everywhere on the internet, pictures of this when a train was over it from back in the day. Couldn't find anything. All I found was the Bridge Hunter page, American Bridge Hunter page, where actually people go around the country and hunt for bridges. old railroad bridges, and that's where I got the information from, when it was built, where it was built, the year, who built it, and just no pictures of the bridge in action, or maybe even a barge going through the river. That would have been kind of cool. Of course, the pictures would be black and white, but still, that would have been kind of sweet to see back in the day. Now I'm going to touch this piece of steel right here, this trestle support beam. I'm looking at that. That thing is still sturdy as hell. This shit will last another 100. I'm sorry. I know, folks, I know I cuss too much, but this steel will last another 100 years. I mean, that's how solid this is. Like, amazing. River still has a pretty good current. I do not want to fall in there. That river's disgusting and been polluted for over 150 years, probably even longer than that. Who knows what's been dumped in this river. But they have plans to clean it up and re-dredge it. I don't know what the deal is with that, what's going on with that. Holding on to this bar right here. It's shaking a little. You can see it shaking. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of vibrating a little bit. Yeah, I think it's time for B-Man to get off this bridge. But I know I've mentioned this 100 times already, but just amazed how great this bridge is still. The structure that it's in, you know, how great of a shape it is. It's just crazy. So I'm heading back to my truck. Before I do that, I'm going to show you guys below the bridge a little bit. The mysterious B-Man woman is down at the end there. I'll show you her feet. She does not want to be identified. There she is right there, her feet. Taking pictures of me, probably going to put me on Facebook or something like that. But she's afraid to go over the bridge. I don't blame her. I'm a little crazy to go over this, but she's smarter than I am. But if I go fall in the river, she's gonna have to come save me. The gap again. Ooh, it's scary. Oh shit! I almost fell through that fucking. Excuse me, effing. I cussed too much. I almost fell through that tie right there. Oh man. A little bit of a, maybe about 30 feet off the ground right here. That would not be a good spill for B-Man. I'm here at the north side of the bridge. I would call it probably the northeast side of the bridge. Now look at this, what we found underneath the main trestle here. As you can see, those little wheels on a rail. I showed you the top section of that, but literally this bridge would just spin at a 90-degree angle, like I said, and the ships would be able to come through here at both directions. I would love to see that back in the day. It's pretty amazing. That's just, I hope one day they restore this bridge. It'd be kind of nice. But you know, that brickwork underneath, that looks like that's a little newer, like it's been rebuilt at one time. That looks like cinder, maybe not cinder. I'd say that's probably limestone brick. It looks like it's been, you know, fixed up over the years. That looks like that's been modernized right there. That doesn't look like the original work for the bridge, because back then, that, you know, back in the 1900s, early 1900s, that would have been rock. That would have been all concreted rock. That's pretty cool, that mechanism, that mechanical mechanism right there that caused the bridge to turn. Amazing. So here am I closer underneath the bridge. Can't really find any markings or original dates. It's pretty neat. If I can get a little closer, I'm a little bit of a muddy field right here. Look at this, like, they don't make stuff like this anymore. All wood supporting. The original metal trestles here. Wood, these are wood pylons. You can see over the years the wood's rotted out, probably from nature and ants and bugs and termites. And the crisscross section here of metal is still intact. Like, this structure of this bridge, it is old, but like I said 100 times already, I'm amazed how great of a shape it is over the years of winter. I mean, just definitely don't make stuff like this anymore. You can see there's a little bit of graffiti on here over the years, probably from teenagers and kids. I just want to show you one more thing here before I take off. This right here, you can see where the bridge meets the original line. This is where it would detach from and spin in either direction. This is the main feed coming in, and then of course the bridge starts right here where the mechanism starts. and that's where it would begin to move. So I noticed that, but I'm just amazed how that's original wood from the early 1900s, and that's still intact. So I don't know, pretty cool to me at least. I hope you guys enjoyed. All right, folks, that's pretty much it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's little adventure to the Sohl Avenue Bridge. If you want some more detail, a little bit more informed information, I put the link in the description below about the bridge, so you guys can get a little bit educated about it. But I hope you enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I'll talk to you guys later on down the road.